Guys, Huck versus Byul. In the top left-hand corner as the red Zerg, it is Incredible Miracles Byul. And over on the bottom right-hand side, his opponent, the Canadian Hope, it is Evil Genius's Huck. And here we go. Now, let's catch everybody up to date with what we were talking about. Oh, wow. Hold on. Pylon placement.
Just for a gateway expand to make
gateway
it a little bit safer.
Yes. But let's catch everybody up to date with what we were talking about previous to, the slight break that we took. We were talking about Huck and how he really favors his openings, his compositions in the very early stages and mid-game stages.
Yeah, so Huck often likes to be aggressive in the early mid-game, and sometimes he'll do this with an all-in, a 7-gate and an 8-gate, usually not a 9-gate, although I guess it's possible. And sometimes he'll just do if he does a gateway expand like this though, obviously you're not going to 7-gate, or maybe do a 3-gate, maybe a 4-gate if you want to put in quick pressure. And this is fairly common from Huck. But also he likes to do just Immortal Sentry Blink Stalker mixes in the mid-game, and I think we might see that as well.
Yeah, and it's important to note that he's not known for Stargate play. I mean, this is a definite thing that we see from Huck. I've never really saw him do even a Stargate all-in. It's always just mainly Gateway, mainly Immortal, and that's it. So that's a really comfortable thing to actually cut away from defending from. Spore Crawlers sometimes are needed against Dark Templars, and I have seen him do Dark Templars, just not fast Dark Templars. They're like some sort of utility into the mid-game stages. But it makes Zergs a lot more comfortable once you realize, okay, well, this whole region of builds I can just cut away from and not have to worry. A hatch first out for Byul is his choice, his weapon of choice. And he's going to get some fast ling speed to accompany this. As Huck is already postured to take his expansion, he has the pylon out here to set up for the block. Normally gateways pop up here, and if you want to, a Stargate, but as I was saying, very uncommon to see a Stargate play coming out from Huck.
He's actually making a quick Zod and Stalker.
Yeah,
and this is kind of uncommon when you go for a gateway expand. Usually these days, a gateway expand is typically just the Mothership Core, and then you're saved up for a Sentry with your next 100 gas, and those would be your only 2 units until you have a wall with either a 2 or 3 gateways at the expansion.
Yeah, and interesting. I guess, is this just for a scout in the beginning stage, the Zealot?
It's the 4 Zerglings, the Zealot and the Stalker.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, there's not much you care about scouting from Zerg at this point. He's going to have a second base. He probably won't have a third base, and if he does, it's not something you need to scout yet.
Oh! Zealot gonna be taken out here at no cost. Nice micro from the Zerg player.
But I mean, he invested in the Zealot to force out the Zerglings.
Yeah.
So it's not much of a loss. If he kills 1 or 2, it's not much of a win either. So.
Yeah, it's kind of indirect damage. Those 6 Zerglings could have been 3 drones. And in the case that he went those 3 drones, well, you're going to be able to kill some of those drones, or at least stop the mining time of them. So everything's still pretty standard. It's only 100 minerals so far. Expansion is being put down, and as you can see, 2 gateways and a forge directly behind this. Normally it's 2 gateways and a Stargate. Keep saying it, but it's important to note, not going to be the case. +1 is being researched immediately, and chrono boosted chrono boosted Nexi will be the choice for the chrono boosts.
I like the forge though. It makes the Zerg kind of wonder what he's up to when you see it. It could indicate mid-game timing. And it also, you're kind of still scared of like a 4-gate if you see a forge without the +1. That's one of the common metagames lately. You put a forge in the wall off, and then you just have a second gateway in the main, and you just do 4-gate without +1, because the forge isn't that expensive. So it's still about the same time as normal, but Zerg wouldn't expect it. But that's not what Huck's doing on the
No,
stage.
full wall off for him, so he's just going to be blowing down these rocks and taking his 3rd base relatively fast here. He has no pylons out in the map.
Oh, maybe not.
Okay. So he canceled the gateway.
Kind of interesting. He hasn't turned down any tech buildings yet though. And he's worked in a decent amount of units before his tech. I'm not sure why this is. because it doesn't look like he's posturing for a quick push, but he doesn't have a tech building yet. And I mean, he could have easily cut 1 or 2 of these sentries and thrown down a Robo or a Twilight Counter or whatever he wants to do and still been completely safe. But maybe he is going to go for some delayed push with sentries because he's still warping in units and he hasn't made any tech buildings yet.
It feels like he's going to be right in the middle there, right? Like he's going to blow down these rocks, take the Nexus, but also put on some pressure and then just try to do damage or recall whenever he feels that he's out of position or he's going to feature a bad trade.
It does look like that. These rocks are going to take a while to die to 5 sentries though.
Yeah, I agree. But we're going to see warp-ins coming out pretty soon. There it is. Zealots and Stalkers will help out. And a Twilight Council going to be placed.
Interesting. Maybe it's for blink timing?
It could be.
It's kind of common these days. You take a quick turret and you click on before you get much of the economic boost. And then Zerg playing a bit too greedy, it can definitely pay off. But I don't know how well that would work if he does go for that. Byul's already getting Burrow.
And Burrow going to be a nice, I wouldn't say direct counter, but it's a nice soft counter to this opening. Because if you ever have roaches out in the field, they just burrow. They can pop up and kill your sentries immediately, or they could just be burrow micro, the same way you do blink micro, and just burrowed until you get low health, and then you spread out that HP and maintain your high roach count while regenerating a lot of health.
This push won't do too much from Huck. There's a lot of roaches coming out now, and there's already 4 of them at the 3rd base, more in production at the 3rd base as well.
And Burrow about to finish here. So we're going to see
and I think
just the engagement, yeah.
He does have a Robo going down as well as the Blink upgrade, so I don't think this will be a Blink Stalker on, especially since he already has a fairly high Sentry and Zealot count. I think he's going to go for that Blink Stalker and Mortal Sentry composition
I think so. And most importantly, the 3rd Nexus wasn't placed down. A couple of Zergling trades was able to just stop the Probe, but the Probe can still do it right now.
This is actually looking okay for Huck in my opinion, if he can defend without taking much damage. Because I mean, the Burrow upgrade won't help much once Huck's Blink Stalker Immortal count goes to 0.
And there it is. But what does he do for me? I almost feel like this is a good trade here. Yes, you waste a couple of force fields, so what ends up happening is you just wait until your observers pop out. And it traps him in. That's really cool. That's so clever.
And now he can just walk back here, knowing they can't escape. Nice. 5 links. That's a nice pick up too.
Photon Cannon will enter over there. He is getting his +2 weapons attack.
Now he has observers and he's still on conversion.
Yeah.
And I think Huck's in a great spot. I mean, the supply count obviously shows that he has a big lead, but it's only going roaches and Zerglings so far. So it's always going to be the case.
Yeah. Just that inflated supply because they're so cheap. But okay, so he goes from here. Is there like any tech advantage out for Byul right now? He is on 4 approaching 5 hatcheries, so he will have that production really, really well. But I mean, we have very old sentries in this composition, so that helps out a lot now. A lot of Zerglings and Roaches coming in from the left side. On the top right-hand side, they're also coming in. This Mothership Core is just patrolling back and forth, making sure that no surrounds happen. I like that positioning, and Huck is fine. Yeah, you're right.
I'm not sure how much... Okay, now he's throwing on the Infestation Pit. I was saying he was delaying his tech a long time. And on a map like Akalon, that's not always something you want to do, because it's a lot harder to apply pressure with Roaches and Hydras.
Yeah.
I'm not sure... Well, okay, now he's throwing on Templar Archive. Could be for Side Storm, and it could also just be for some Archons, maybe.
Yeah, and even feedbacks. I mean, to defend against Vipers, right? Like, Vipers are such a strong unit against this composition, just Blinding Clouds and, of course, the Abducts on the Immortals.
The Vipers would come out so late this game, though.
Yeah, but Huck has to still defend against that range where it's super fast Hive Tech. He's seen not a lot of Roaches, honestly. I mean, yes, there's a lot of Roaches, but you can still fit in Hive Tech with this amount of Roaches. He's seen a lot of Zerglings as well. So it's completely understandable. Now joining up the 4th base location. And there is a fight in the front. I don't think this is a good fight. Great force fields.
The Hydralisks are in the back, too, and you can't do anything except for the Zealots, the one.
And they're still very slow, still no muscular augments. And this is a great engagement for Huck. He's going to be able to blink forward, just eliminate every single one. No, he's just going to blink back and micro these Hydras so well. And wow, that's such a good fight for our Protoss hero.
Huck pushing, for getting a couple Immortals back there as well. Huck doesn't want that. Oh, I guess he's just pulling back. Okay, so he's just going to send the Stalkers out.
Okay,
this
that makes
is just
sense.
the safest thing he can do, I guess. They have blinks so they can retreat pretty easily, especially in this map. You can kind of blink down, kill some Overlords, maybe try to snipe the third base, and just blink back up if he wants to.
Just a creep tumor, playing very safe with this.
So it is Psystorm. And this Psystorm Immortal Blinkstalker composition is going to be very tough for the Hydra Roach Viper to deal with. The Vipers are mainly meant to deal with a Colossi composition. It's not that good against Psystorm.
But is this ever a position because the Zerg player's on 4 base that he can just still overwhelm his opponent? Or are the supplies just too high for Huck as it is?
He could definitely overwhelm him if Huck tries to push out too soon. But I think if Huck just keeps adding Immortals and High Templar and sits back, I think it'll be tough to overwhelm him, you know?
Yeah. Well, Zerglings, Hydras, and Roaches are the composition so far that we've seen. Vipers enter the field. There's 3 of them in total. Blinding Cloud is exceptionally good, but I think the way you use them is probably the best, where you fungal growth everything and then Blinding Cloud. That synergy.
Yeah, it's just that Byul doesn't have the gas to get both in this game.
That's true.
I bet he would love it if he could. Huck also is in a good position in terms of upgrades. He has the +3 attack and he's getting +1 armor. And Byul is just starting as 2-2. Still has over a minute to go for each of those upgrades.
What do you think about this Swarm Host transition?
I like it. It'll be good against the High Templar attack if he can get a lot of Swarm Host out.
Yeah,
but
that's a big if.
It's going to be tough for him to do that without dying.
Units caught out in the middle of the map. Big blink up, trying to kill as many units as possible. You will get a lot of Zerglings, but here's the Concave. And is it going to be enough? Blinding Cloud goes down. He's going to back up from there. Oh, God! Not a single storm went down!
That was an enormous mistake for Huck. This 5 High Templar, with those High Templar, I think he could have crushed the army of Byul.
I think so too.
But now he lost them all for basically nothing. Well not basically nothing, for nothing. Not even a single Psystorm.
But still, I don't think this is an approachable army for Byul. I don't think Byul can actually take an engagement here all too well.
I mean, I think Huck still definitely has a lead after that. But he would have had a much bigger lead.
Oh, he would have the game almost, right?
Pretty much if he just attacked with what he had.
Yep. There's no way that the Roaches and the Hydras can just tank the High Templar Storms. That's why. And now it gives Byul the room to tech over to the Swarm Hosts. He has a total of 6 out in the field so far.
It's a decent amount. It's not going to win a fight by itself, but
But
I mean,
he'll still be able to trade out pretty cost efficiently, right?
Yeah, each Swarm Host he can get will be cost efficient against Huck's army at this point.
In Huck's transition, I've seen a couple of transitions. Some people prefer going Sky, some people prefer going just a mass amount of Colossus. What's the correct response, do you think, in your experience?
I don't think he'd want to go Sky Toss against the Swarm Host at this point. I think he'd want to either transition into Colossi or just stick on the composition he has now. Probably adding in like 2 Colossi, 3 Colossi would be good. But sticking on what he has now, I think he could make it work too. Psystorm isn't bad against Swarm Host in the position he's in currently. If you tech towards it from the start and the Zerg's just going Swarm Host from the start, you'll always lose. But since Byul is going incredibly late Swarm Host after a Roach Hydromax and the Vipers, I think it can still work out pretty well for Huck.
Okay.
His army is just so good right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's looking very, very scary. Huck approaching the 5th base over here.
And look at all the High Templar. He has 8 High Templar in this army. That's a lot of Psystorms.
And now in conjunction with this Zelnaga Tower, I mean, this is an unapproachable army. The Warp Prism in the top got shut down, so no type of multi-pronged attack going to happen over here.
I like what Byul is doing, though, in the back of this. This is the Broodlord transition is the correct move against what Huck's doing. He's just going to turtle with Spines and Swarm Host and then get Broodlords. And once he gets those, I mean, even now it's tough for Huck to attack into the Spine Crawlers because he can cast Blinding Clouds, maybe abduct a couple of Immortals. But once he gets the Broodlords, it's going to be, Huck's composition can't deal with Broodlords that well. Immortals are useless against them.
Definitely. Well, we'll see. The Spine Crawl wall is there, and the High Templars Oh my goodness. Now, good storms on the Locust. That's actually
Wow,
not a waste by
the
any
entire
means.
wave of Locust, and he still has some storms left as well.
And he has so much momentum in this
do
push. Now, a couple of ducks are going to affect this, but only 2 Immortals. The feedback Vipers are just useless now, and he's crushing through. Absolutely crushing through every single Locust. Every single Swarm Host is going to die.
Byul did pick out the Observers, so he can't kill these last 4 Swarm Hosts.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So maybe if his reinforcements can overwhelm this force, and I think maybe they can actually. There's a lot of Hydras down there.
Oh, he can go up to the high ground though, and he still has a single sentry. He's gonna.
Oh,
the Archon actually kills it.
But still, on the high ground, it is still helping bottleneck his Hydralist, and there's not actually that many Hydras yet.
Yep, now blinking onto a couple of Spine Crawlers here, but these Immortals will be able to do so much damage so fast. Look at how fast this hatchery dies. The Zealots go into the 3rd or 4th base over here. Now taking out the Greater Spire. 3 Broodlords are being morphed right now.
Oh, he didn't kill it. He needs to kill that.
Yeah, he's going to get it, and now he blinks away. Hopefully he has a little bit more time to blink into the low ground. Nice target fire on these Corruptors.
If he could take down 1 or 2 Broodlords, it would be an amazing pickoff for him, because Byul can't make any more Broodlords.
Yep, and he takes out 2 of them. So nice job. The Stalkers will die, but look at this. Units all over the map. Now over here in the mid left-hand corner.
Now Huck's in such a good position, he's also switched over to Colossi while doing this. And he has 2 Colossi about to pop out. If he can get to 4 Colossi and a decent Blink Stalker force, I think he'll be in a nice position.
Oh, I think he's in a fantastic position.
And Byul, he's lost all of his Vipers, so he has no way to abduct the Colossi.
94 supply to 66 in terms of just army, if you look in the top right-hand corner. So Huck does have a army deficit, but I think his quality of units are just so much better. Colossus is taking a little bit of damage here, which should be fine. You can see the upgrades coming into effect with the Zerglings. I don't think having a single upgrading in terms of attack. No, they do not. But the Colossus will go down. Stalkers will be able to defend this, I do believe.
Where did all these Swarm Hosts come from? I swear he only had 4 of them. And now there's, maybe he built more?
Yeah, I think so. He had to have. And now the push from multiple sides with Colossus, with Stalkers. He's going to be able to not overwhelm him. Byul somehow winning that fight. Oh my goodness. And now the Archons will be merged. And what does he have to defend against these Locusts?
Well, nothing at this point. I didn't realize Byul had made so many extra Swarm Hosts. I think that's what's turning the tide. Just reinforcing with Roaches and Hydras, along with the constant flood of Locusts, is just going to overwhelm Huck at this point.
Yeah, it is. There is a small force moving across the map, though. This is here to cut off the reinforcements. Charge is up as well. He's going to blink up and just try to do some more damage, maybe economically. There is no base over here, though. And this is the only mining base for Byul, so there's still a chance for Huck to win this, but he just needs to accrue an army.
He does have a lot of High Templar, so now it's just about getting the units to buffer. Maybe adding another Colossi or 2 in. And yeah, I mean, he has 3 Colossi and 8 High Templar. So, I mean, that's a nice start. He just needs to get enough Stalkers and an Observer or 2, and maybe he has a chance.
We'll see. I mean, it's all going to come down to this fight. Whoever wins here is most likely going to win the game, because both of their economies are just in tatters.
I think Huck should just stall as much as he can and not fight this. His natural is basically mined out anyways. And his army, it's higher value units, even though he has a lot less units. And Byul's economy is in tatters. So if he can just buy some time, maybe cut off reinforcements, and then engage this when he has enough, then I think he still has a small chance.
Well, Locusts were not actually rallied anywhere, so they're able to defend pretty easily. The Corruptor count is only at 1, so the Colossus will be able to just rain hell down onto the Zerg.
And nice, he's going to pick off some Hydralisk here.
Yep, this is working out well, and Huck is making it work.
He still definitely has a chance. He's taking a lot of damage, but it's not game-ending damage. He lost his natural. But Byul has a very small economy at this point. He's on 1 base, slightly over 1 base.
And now he's going to catch all of these Swarm Hosts out of position. The Broodlord goes down immediately.
But
Storms are going to go down.
Moving too far
and I think it's still going to be okay, though. Archon's going to be merged now, and finally the Locusts are going to pop up here, but the Blink Stalkers...
I think he's done it.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I mean, he needs to be careful with this Colossi. He's just letting the Locusts walk up and then shoot them. He lost 1, but he's killing more Swarm Host.
Another
Yes,
round
these
of
Archons
reinforcements
are
are
MVPs
in.
of this fight.
Yeah, and the Archons are able to clean up a ton here, and it looks like Huck has done it. He's able to defend here. He has a mining base against the Zerg's mining base.
It looks like my favorite Canadian player left in the tournament might be able to take this game.
I think so. All he needs to do is just deny this base over here, deny anything mining. Let's take a look at the units tab. 1 Hydra, 11 Roaches. That's not going to stand up to just the quality of units that Huck has. Army tab showing 46 to 57 army supply, an advantage now.
These
Couple of Roaches dying.
These low econ situations are usually pretty good for Protos players too, because they can get more to the gas in a low econ situation.
Yeah, the High Templars.
Templar is a lot more useful than, I mean, whatever gas units that his opponent can build now. I mean, you don't have the tech for infestors. I mean, you have the infestation pit, but you don't have pathogen glands. And each infestor is less useful than a High Templar anyways.
Well, the engagement is starting pretty soon here. Huck just waiting a little bit longer for his High Templars to accrue a little bit more energy. Zealot's going to pressure this bottom left-hand side base. That is going to trigger the Hydras and Roaches to step off creep, and right behind him. Oh! Okay, that's unfortunate. A single Stalker goes down, and a lot of the hit points for the Archon. Oh.
But he took out that base in the meantime, so now he can just pull back and bide his time.
But for a good amount of Zealots, though.
I mean, but it doesn't matter. The Zealots aren't that important to him. His army is better than Byul's army at this point.
That's true.
So, and I mean, his economy is better after this base is up, so all he has to do is kind of sit back, make more units, and pick off step whenever he can. And if Byul pushes across the map, I'm pretty sure Huck can win the fight.
Yeah, every time. Blink Stalker's getting in here, and that's another thing. Blink Stalkers can be very cost efficient as well.
And now he has 5 High Templar in his army, and the longer he waits, the more valuable these High Templar get. There's nothing that Byul has that can counter them. Well, he does have 5 Swarm Hosts, but that's not that many. I think Huck can deal with that many.
Well, we'll see.
He's just picking off a Hydra, retreating. That was good.
Now he's going to try to target down those Swarm Hosts if possible, of course. Blink Stalkers can just blink in, or not blink in, attack in, and then blink out. Making it so hard. Oh, the High Templars! He might lose one. They have the same speed off creep, so it shouldn't happen. Again, doing a nice job just swinging in here with the Blink Stalkers.
And this is also just buying him more time.
Yeah. Until he gets that better composition.
Yep, and he has Colossi in production. That'll help him tremendously. There's no corruptors on the field. If he can get 2 to 3 Colossi, I think it'll be incredibly tough for Byul to do anything. 1 Infestor's now out. He has to be careful he doesn't get fungled.
Oh, he does. But it's just a couple of High Templars
Just
here.
4 Templar. I mean, that's a
worth
big
it.
loss. But, and the
gosh.
Stalkers too.
And now this combination is just really powerful, but he doesn't have a lot of Infestors left. Is that his only 2? Yes, that's his only 2, and he has none in the production tab. Again, swinging around, trying to do damage, but the Swarm Host will pop. And I don't know, I mean, all of a sudden, these Swarm Hosts are looking really good.
Yeah, they're definitely looking pretty good. He produced several more, now he has 8 instead of 5. And Huck's lost some important units too. He lost all 5 of his Templar, and he lost some of his Stalkers. So it's going to be tougher to hold this off. He does have 2 Colossi. He needs to join up with them. That'll maybe give him a chance. And
well, they're over at the 4th base, though, and the Colossus are going to spring to action, but they are in the wrong position, I would say. Units being warped in on the high ground. Meanwhile,
these
Locusts
Colossi
are
could get surrounded by these Roaches.
Yeah,
if he loses these, it's his lifeline.
And that's what it's going to be. Colossus going down as they get surrounded from the high ground. The low ground is being ravaged over here. And there is the base, or what thought to be a base, is not going to be anything, as Huck's units are severely out of place. He's trying to look for something to kill, trying to go into this base race, but there's nothing. And Huck actually doesn't have an army or a bank behind this, so he needs to directly engage against the Swarm Host. But how can you ever directly engage against Swarm Host? That's the worst thing you want to do. You want to constantly be dodging around them as much as possible.
He does have another 4 High Templar, but I just don't know if he has enough units at this point.
Yeah. 166 supply to 81. And Huck is long distance mining from the bottom left-hand side. There is an engagement happening in the middle of the map, but I don't know what Huck can do with this army. It's just so scary. This has been such a back and forth game. Roaches and Hydras moving in, and they're just claiming more and more.
Maybe his best chance is to attempt to wait until his Templar each have 2 side storms and then win a fight.
But is that even possible? I feel like even waiting for the storms to go off on the rest of the units, like all of his zealots will be evaporated. You can easily just kite storms.
I mean, it's not that good of a chance, but I think it's the best thing he can do at this point. Engaging before that would be worse, and Byul isn't adding any more units to his composition at this point. He only has 1 mineral patch. Of course, Huck doesn't know that, so it's difficult for Huck to figure out what he wants to do in this position. But I think this is probably his best move now.
To go for the base race?
Yeah, to base race and then try to pick off units where he can with his blink stalkers. He only has a couple left, but he can try to use them as well as possible. And then just try to use side storms to slowly get his way back into the game.
Yeah.
It's tough though, because if he gets caught by 1 fungal, he'll lose every unit that's fungaled.
Yes.
And the swarm host can wear him down too if he's not careful.
Oh, Roaches and Hydras trying to pin these units as swarm hosts.
Yeah, that's a lot of Zerg.
Oh my gosh.
I'd say it's probably not possible for Huck to defeat this army.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, let's just look at the army tap. 126 supply to 51. Everything is going Byul's way. And now he's going to push forward. Always making a pack of locusts and then moving forward with everything. Storms will go down. That
Good
works out,
storms.
but the fungal growth is going to lock down the Archon, the Stalkers,